office is requesting the board approve and execute the minutes for the meeting of August 25th, 2015.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
Heidi, come on down.
Financials today have an appropriation transfer from the contingency account to return appropriations to the Sheriff's Office for expenses reimbursed and deposited into the general fund. Supplemental appropriations to the Department of Water Resources for the change orders for the EnviroCom contracts and debt transfers. Cash transfers out of the general fund for portions of 2015 funding for the Office of Community and Economic Development and Court Technology. Purchase order for MT Business Technologies for the purchase of 2 multifunction RICO officio copiers for the Department of Job and Family Services in the amount of $18,513. Travel encumbrances for the Department of Emergency Services and the Juvenile Court. Payment to Geauga County Agricultural Society for 2015 funding and the second quarter bed tax distributions. And payment number 3 to Miller Builders for the salt storage building project for the engineer's office in the amount of $131,452.50.
I have one question, but I already talked to you about it this morning, and you won't know the answer, so I'm going to ask Nick.
Yeah,
Did you get the cover for the salt storage building yet?
Third of it is up. The rest is going on today and tomorrow.
The cover?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make a motion to approve the finance.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
A week ago he told me they forgot to order it. That's what he said, didn't he say? I mean, that's what Joe told me. I thought, oh.
He's probably kidding.
I don't know. It was the contractor, not Joe.
Oh.
It was the contractor that didn't have it.
Ready? I'm sad to report that my courier has resigned. He's going on to bigger and better things, which I'm happy for him for. And I'm kind of sad to lose him because that kid was perfect. He missed, I want to say, like half an hour in the year he was with us. Just a really good kid. Always on time. Always did what we asked. Didn't mind how mindless and boring it was. As promised. I mean, that's what he said in the interview. I don't mind boring, repetitive tasks. So
We always have this philosophic discussion about should you hire A's, knowing that A's are more apt to move on to better things, but you get really good service out of them.
yeah.
Rather than settling for a B or a C who may never go anywhere, but doesn't do that great of a job.
Here's the boy that was going to college. Was he going?
He was great. He has graduated.
Oh, he had. Okay,
Yes.
okay. I'm getting him confused.
The one before him was the one who decided to go to grad school sooner than we expected.
Yep.
So, anyways, we're asking if you will accept Matt's resignation and then allow us to advertise to fill that position.
We have a choice.
Well,
Yeah.
we would lose career service and a lot of work.
We were going to look for this at one time, whether or not we need to continue accepting resignations since.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it's kidnapping, isn't it? We don't let him go.
I'll just bring it up again. We might want to, I mean, it's a net, but it would save the ink and
I'll just go tell him, this commissioner said no.
You must stay. You gotta stay.
I think that'll work.
it seems like the same thing to have to do if we don't have to do it.
The Archives and Records Center is requesting the board accept the resignation of Matthew Murphy, Archives and Records Clerk, to be effective September 4th, 2015.
I'll make that.
Do you want to do it together? Or you want to do it
You can do that, yeah. As far as
But you didn't read the second part about it.
I did say could we
Oh, yeah, okay.
advertise to fill the position.
Mhm.
Okay. The Archives and Records Center is requesting the board grant permission to advertise for the position of Archives and Records Clerk number 2607. This position will remain posted until filled.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Just for your information, in the first week after he leaves, I also have someone on vacation, so I will probably be working down there during
And there
that
probably
week.
won't be courier service that week.
Well, I may do courier that first week, and then we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes from there. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Johnny, you're up.
Good morning.
Hey, Jody.
Well, the first item is our parking lot at Clinton Township Community Center. And I don't know if you recall, but we sent an RFP originally, and we didn't get one response. So I think the word is out that there's rock out there. But so we bid it, and we got a bid, but it was more than 10% above the engineer's estimate, so we have to reject it. Going back out with an RFP for Laura.
I mean, it's for the parking facility. What are they putting in where they've got to dig down and encounter the rock? Are there some lights going in or electric?
We're just guessing that that's what.
Oh, okay.
Because
I'm thinking that.
we don't have a clue. I know I was told by one contractor that because of the spring and the rains, they're very much behind and they're not looking at more projects, especially little projects. You know, they're trying to get to their big ones. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board reject all bids submitted for the Township Community Center permanent facilities project because they were overly engineered.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. Go ahead, Johnny.
Okay. The next item is just housekeeping and staff housing semi-annual program and report. This is a report that we have to submit to the state to let them know where we are with the fund from, first of all, the old CHIP program, the down payment assistance rehab. We collect money in and have to account to them for it. And the CDBG is any emergency program that we had had in the past that we had placed a mortgage on the property. That's the collection of those funds. So we're just telling the state what we've collected in the last 6 months.
So did you do 6 and 7 together, or was that just 6?
No, it was just 6.
The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the housing semi-annual program income report for the period January 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Aye. Next one is the same thing.
The next one is the revolving loan fund, the state's revolving loan fund that we manage. And this is the same thing, housekeeping, it's just the 16th report.
The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the board approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the EDRLF semi-annual report for the period January 1st, 2015 through June 30th, 2015.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Okay, the next item is we're just doing some preparation for a loan that has already been approved through the revolving loan fund committee, but we haven't solidified it. But we're just getting some of the state requirements out of the way. So this is just saying that whatever the deal is, it's not impacting anything in the county.
The Office of Community and Economic Development is requesting the Board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the certification of the termination of subsequent exemption for a categorical exclusion project in regards to the Petty Group under program income in the amount of $250,000.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Good. First item that we have on here is to execute the change order number 1 and final for the asphalt resurfacing of Ravenna Road in Chardon Township. It's a decrease in the contract, $27,414.20. Basically just incidental items that normal ups or downs on quantities that we've used in the field.
This is on the Ravenna north of
601.
town.
Yeah, this is the one north of the town to the county.
Which is the smoothest road in the county.
Presently.
It's a wonderful job. I mean, I love driving.
3 or 4 that we've got the surface on right now. You know, this Old State's done and Chagrin Road are done. So they all have the same surface material on it.
I know the engineer's office has been complimented on that section of road before, but
They did that one pretty quick.
and it's nice. So,
The County Engineer's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute change order number 1 and final, decreasing the contract with Ryan Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Ravenna Road, CH 601, sections A through D, in Chardon Township, in the amount of $27,414.20.
so moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Item 10 is approving and executing the final plat for Canyon Lakes Colony Subdivision 13B, known as Quarry Circle in Bainbridge Township. All the work complete by the subcontractor up to final surface course, which we hold until completion. The mortgage deeds are being processed and reviewed right now, and they will be coming through by the next meeting. I apologize for the line item signature line. The plat was created a few years ago as they were working through them. So.
Not a problem. I remember that.
Doesn't have your name on it?
It had
No.
no name on it.
What's that?
It had no name on it.
They didn't know whose name to put.
That's right. How would you know?
A player named at a later date.
Right.
The County Engineer's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the final plat for Canyon Lakes County Subdivision Phase 13B, Quarry Circle in Bainbridge Township.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool? I have to pull the top. So.
Oh, geez, I screwed this up. Can you do this?
We can erase it.
Unless you want to fill in the date. I think that's all you have to
I
do.
will call. Are they required on it? Does it say date?
Usually Dave's there.
No, they have
That's fine.
I don't know. We'll take a look
If
at
I
it.
can leave it there.
You guys print this off down at your shop?
This was done by the developer. So they did, that's why the signatures are from when it first started. The plat was approved by Planning Commission and through the development process until it actually goes through performance and maintenance. We don't sign off on it until the construction is complete.
I like that vellum.
Mylar.
Oh, my life.
That is Mylar. Yeah, it's a double matte Mylar. So.
I'm going to have the county maps produced in Mylar in my office. It's just so cool.
Thank you.
Just let your second.
Just let me know.
Okay.
Morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
First item here is just the request for the reimbursement from OPWC for Thompson. The way we handle this is we pay the pay request out of our funds, and then we request the money that we are owed from our funding source to reimburse that money. This is just a request for reimbursement.
The Department of Water Resources is requesting the Board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the Ohio Public Works Commission Appendix E disbursement request form and certification number 3 for the Thompson Township Sewer Project in the amount of $108,567.26.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Can I cover the next two?
Yeah, I mean, the next two are just because of our new director here. We need to sign new forms.
And removing ill director.
And removing the old director.
So 12 and 13 are
Payroll and accounting, two separate forms.
but I mean, are we going to read those together or what?
Yeah, we can.
That's up to Skip, but
Yeah, we can read them together. Sure.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the updated payroll authorization form for the Department of Water Resources. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the updated accounting forms authorization form for the Department of Water Resources.
I'll make those motions.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good day. Yep, you too. You read the next one, Dave?
Well, this next action is a recommendation for the board to nominate Skip to serve on Geauga Community Action Board. By the bylaws, there's 5 public official spaces available. They're 3-year terms. So due to his involvement with the board, I felt that was appropriate. So that's what the board did.
Who's on the board? You know, the 5?
Well, right now, I don't know. Is there other elected officials? Is there any?
Yeah, I don't know the other elected officials. They actually need one more outside of myself. So
Because the board was facing extinction last year, I think.
This is the live well thing, right? That
Well, this was
the thing that they were trying to get out of to move to the other counties or something.
Right.
The
for
state
that
thing.
development,
Okay.
the State Development Service Agency.
Yeah, that's
yeah, they're moving forward with it. They've got bylaws produced. They're aggressively moving on that. So.
okay. Sorry.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board nominate Walter M. Claypool, public official, to serve on the Geauga Community Action Inc. Board for a 3-year term beginning October 1st, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Morning, Kathy.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Good.
Good.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. Well, as you know, we belong to Sept Healthcare Consortium, and last year they put a lot of emphasis on wellness and keeping costs down. And all of the counties that are in the STEPCO program were required to participate in the Statewell program. Statewell being the third-party wellness consultant for STEPCO. Last year, the county, or this past year, I should say, the county participated in a Tier 1 level, meaning that on September 30th, if the employee meets all the requirements of the program, they'll get an additional $150, $100, and they'll also get the wellness rate as set by the county, so there's a wellness and a standard rate. For next year, they did make some changes, and I think you have that before you, or should have seen this.
They were sent.
I'm sorry?
It was sent.
Okay. And they did listen to us about putting more emphasis on preventative annual exams, different things, dental exams, eye exams, and they are recommending that we do Tier 2. I also feel that that's a good move for county employees. In addition to that, the employees will have an option. It is not mandatory to include their spouses in this. their spouses as well will get the reward of $150. So if an employee and the spouse participate in this and reach the required 300 points apiece, they'll each receive $150 as we have outlined, plus the wellness rate. So that's why I'm here today, to see if that would be agreeable with you.
I have a couple of points I want to make, and you correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The $150 that an employee would get, or another $150 for the spouse if they meet the requirements.
Sure.
That money is not taxpayer money. That is money that is provided by Sepco.
Absolutely.
Because the concept is if we're healthier, we cost them less money.
Absolutely.
So it's not a line item draw from our treasury. The second thing is that none of us, no elected official in the county, is eligible for this. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I mean, that's what I've been told, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That because of the
There'll be a
fact,
change in compensation.
yeah, because we're locked in on compensation by the ORC, by statute. That so I just want that on the record that it's not costing the county any additional money.
Correct.
And we're not voting for something that we get.
That's exactly right.
Let me add on just a little tidbit. I wasn't going to say you and I had a long conversation.
But I knew you
But
would.
thanks to Blake, he brought up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kathy.
It's all taxpayer dollars. And so, yeah, it's out of a different pocket. It doesn't come out of our operating budget directly, but we pay for the insurance. It is all taxpayer dollars at the end of the day. In addition to that, it's not just $150. There's also a reduction in rates for individuals who choose to participate in this.
Right.
Tier 2 causes people to have to do more things to get the deduction and so on and so forth. So we're moving from Tier 1 to Tier 2 to try and motivate people to, which is a little angst that I have, as you and I know.
Right.
I'm supporting your take on this whole issue, but just so everybody's clear on that. So it is taxpayer dollars at the end of the day, because it's all taxpayer dollars. We do nothing that's not paid for by the taxpayers.
Right. So. I understand that point, but I think, what Commissioner Greer was saying, it's not like we're...
Additional. I may have left that out. Yes, it is all, but they could keep the premium up.
Right.
They could keep the premium up one, and they could not reward people for what they should be doing, which is taking care of themselves. But there's a lot of things we humans should be doing that we don't.
If I can add in, I always like to, when we use the word they, I always like to say, who is they?
Yeah.
In this case, Sepco is 33 counties that are pooled for self-insurance, and the Sepco board that makes these decisions is primarily comprised of county commissioners who ran for and were elected to the Sepco board. On the board, there's also a few HR professionals that are, like you and I, are the hired help. But it's primarily elected officials looking at the data, listening to the professional actuaries who advise Sepco on and advocate for these programs, is having a long-term return on investment. Now, everybody can have a debate on wellness. There's certainly some things done in the name of wellness that probably are not effective. But overall, the goal of the Sepco board is to identify those things that are in long-term effective.
Right. And I mean, not to sugarcoat this, this has been a transitional year. The county had done a wellness program for the previous 4 years, and it was paper, done through paper. It was much more cut and dry. You went to your doctor, you went to your dentist, you went to your eye doctor, you had a few more activities, and it was monitored through each department. A lot of hardworking people took on additional responsibilities. This has been a tough year because it's an online program. We're trying to work through the bugs. There are some things I don't agree on this program that I don't think are very effective, but they have made some changes for next year. And the one thing I did leave out was the other big thing that they changed, or if we go to Tier 2, if you approve to do that, it rewards healthy people. If your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your BMI, and your glucose are within the range of normal, you're going to get points for that. Now, you can look at that and say, but heredity says, geez, my cholesterol will never be under 200. Okay, yeah, but there's 3 other choices in that category. So I like that because, we really are trying to get people to get more healthy, but we want the people who are healthy to stay healthy. We have longevity here at the county, and people stay, and we have young people that might grow old with us, and we want to keep those people healthy too. So, you need to look at those people as well. So.
Let me add to that. Part of the Stay Well function is to track all that data on individual. The county doesn't know anything about that.
The county doesn't see anything, and that's a good thing, and it's a bad thing because I absolutely have no control. I haven't been able to help some of our employees get into their portals and things like that because I'm not privy to see that information. None of us are. All we see at the end of the day is who has met the incentive and who hasn't, and that's the list we're going to receive in September. This person met the incentive, they get the money, they get the better rate. This person hasn't, and they don't. It is a voluntary program. Employees do not have to do it. But I think adding the option of your spouse, and I really want to stress that word option, it's not mandatory in this county that your spouse do this wellness program to get the wellness rate. It's something that SEPCO has added this year. We were kind of surprised that they're also going to incentivize the spouse. I mean, that's $300 at the end of the year. That could be a nice little pocket of money for Christmas shopping. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve the SEPCO Stay Well Tier 2 Wellness Program for county employees for the year 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler? Commissioner Claypool?
Reluctantly, aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Morning, Linda.
Good morning again. As you will recall, we took action on Thursday for a probationary bail termination, and then in consultation with Laura, she advised that we use the execute the order of removal. That's just the form we fill out. So we fill that out, and we have that. Okay. It's just the form we fill out where we inform them that that was the decision, although I'm sure she's aware.
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board amend the motion from August 27th, 2015 to read approve the termination of Don Clifton, Senior Attendant at the probationary removal. The termination is effective immediately due to unsatisfactory performance during her probationary period per the Geauga County Personnel Policy and Procedure Manual, Section 2.18, Employment Separation, and further execute the order of removal, reduction, suspension, fine, and one salary disability separation form RC 124.34.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Sure.
No, I brought it in here so in case you needed to know.
You want to hand carry that folder? Or you folder would bring it down?
Yeah. It's not in the middle of the north?
No. I'm glad you reminded me to.
Commissioner's Office is requesting the board move into executive session for the purpose of discussing the compensation of public employees at the county home.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner Spillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Claypool?
Who's coming in for the
Linda,
executive?
Karen DeCola and Linda Rennie and myself.
Okay. Do we expect action?
I would say there may be action. How do you feel?
Because I asked Dave, I said, I don't even remember them giving to you guys. And he said, yeah, that they
They
did.
did that when they did that presentation.
Getting there.
It's not a big deal. It's,
I mean, I don't think you really need it.
How you
Your
doing,
name
Mr.
was
Mayor?
on the
All
wall.
right, how are you?
that's not a problem. See if I can even make it. How you doing, Jeff?
Good, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
I have to go up there today. I'll see if I can
Ah.
call and.
It's not a problem, really.
Hello. Hi, Jim.
Oh, the people decided to stay.
All right.
You need this?
I have nothing, so
Okay,
when you're ready.
ready.
9:55. Close enough.
The county home is requesting the board approve a regrade of the attendant position to a grade 4 and to regrade the senior attendant and senior cook positions to a grade 5 for the Geauga County Personnel Policy and Procedure Manual, Section 4 compensation regrade.
Go ahead, Jeff.
There's an error. You left out the word cook in the first section to move. It's supposed to say
Attendant and cook.
cook. Yeah.
Thanks for the catch.
Even though there's no vacancy.
All right. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Rea?
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Spillier? Commissioner Claypool?
Aye.
The other issues that you guys talked about, we could discuss at our annual meeting this year. I could be prepared by then.
You have an engineer?
We're
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you come back from your trip, then we will figure out a date that we can.
Thanks,
Thank
Karen.
you.
Thanks, Karen.
Thank
Thank
you. Thanks, Linda.
Karen, thanks for the good job you're doing, by the way.
Thanks. It's tiring.
I know it is. You're one of the best people in the county. Okay. Anything else?
We good? Want to talk about anything else?
Come to the fair.
I think, what was the bottom line with that parking issue? Where are we at with that?
With the parking, the annex parking issue, Glenn Vernick, maintenance director, has come up with a proposed reallocation of spaces that comes, in my opinion, as close as possible to giving every department proportionally an equal amount of spaces. It doesn't cover anybody's department entirely to give them all space. It kind of keeps everybody in the same realm to say if the average is, say, 40% of your employees will be able to park in an annex, that's pretty much across the board by this proposal. I think it's very fair.
So let me comment on that real quick. By the way, we offered a proposal to the judge because he had asked for some security-related concerns to be addressed. We addressed the internal local concerns, and I don't want to discuss those because they're security-related. But we addressed those with the judge, Adele, and he was favorable to our proposal. When the court system moved from the Common Pleas Court building, this was well before my time. It wasn't before Dave's time.
No, I was here, 2004.
So,
I was an administrator.
He's much older than me. And so, when they moved, nobody altered the current parking arrangement. And so the court was left with a couple of, where things weren't balanced, relatively speaking. And so Glenn Vernick took a look at the percentages, parking lot-wise, took a look at the concerns, security-related and so forth, and made an adjustment. And we offered that as a proposal. Of course, that's got to be talked about with various elected officials and within this board to make sure that everybody's in agreement, and then we can come to some conclusions. But the judge was favorable to our proposal. Let me make a comment relative to the importance of reserved parking. there are certain elected officials that, keep in mind that a lot of these folks are coming and going on a regular basis. They're important people who have an important job to do. If they had to walk across the street, given the amount of time that they spend, sometimes that's not cost effective for the taxpayers to get the most out of these elected officials. In addition to that, there are elected officials that are a higher risk than other folks. The prosecutors who regularly interfere with drug dealers and so on and so forth, they're at a security risk. We don't want them to put the public at risk, having to walk in from Timbuktu. We want them close to the building, be able to get in and out rapidly, so that there's, in the world that we live in today, we just had a cop, somebody walked up behind him and shot him in the back, unprovoked, whatever the case is. The world is getting crazy out there. And so, while we don't want to overreact to that, we don't want to live in a police state, we do want to take practical, reasonable, this is my opinion, by the way, I'm not speaking for the other two guys, I'm speaking for myself here. We want to take reasonable, practical steps, I think, to ensure the best situation out of what we're living with. Now, we got a parking lot back there that, by just its nature, public parking lot, an alley running through it with the city who has a right-of-way and so on and so forth, it's a very difficult situation to secure. If somebody really wants to get you, that parking lot, whether you're parking next to the building or parking at the back of the building, it's probably not going to help much, but it does help, particularly if you've got a judge and you've got a prosecutor and you've got these folks that are coming and going. They need to be efficient in their active, they're doing their jobs. I think there is some merit to doing that. So anyway, that's just some commentary on the whole parking thing, because, parking related, I could care less. We've got 2 reserved spots out of here. Our names are not on those spots. I don't really care. I use them because I'm here all the time. I come and go from the building all the time. It's very convenient for me to be able to get in and out of the building. Parking at the building department down there and walking down here wouldn't be effective relative to coming and going. But if somebody parked in the reserved spot, I'm not going to lose any heart rate, any sleep over it.
Who is Glenn Vernick?
Glenn Vernick is our maintenance guy.
Oh, that Glenn.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Everybody should understand that
Yeah.
here's the dimensions of the problem. There's, I think by Linda's tally, there's 123 people that work in the annex complex. There are 54 spots. So when Glenn comes up with a solution where every department gets about 40% of their employees covered, that's just, if you look at the total, that's about how it works out. So that was just an attempt to rebalance things.
Does this action then negate in any way the security contract that was approved last week?
No, what we're going to do is, what the thought is, at least again, Mike, we haven't discussed this at the board. This is the reason I bring it up here. We can discuss it now. We're engaged the security analyst, not just for the parking arrangement situation, because that does bear on security to some degree, minor degree, but to some degree. And I'm not a security expert in any way, shape, or form, so I don't even know how important that is. The Supreme Court thought that was important. They gave a recommendation to the judge and said this is important, and they gave some specifics, which we won't get into. Mm-hmm. So there are some people, the experts, who consider that important. So we've taken our best shot at what seems reasonable and practical, and then we're going to get the take from the security analyst to see what his take on it is. He had actually offered some very simple things that we hadn't even thought of, and we were just having the banter with him about whether we wanted to engage him or not. He offered some very simple kinds of precautions that seem, it's not because I'm not in the business, seem very reasonable, cost-effective, and I don't know why we wouldn't do it, kind of suggestions. So he's coming in to take a little bigger picture, stepping back and taking a look at the parking situation plus other security-related things to see if there's any way practical to offer some simple, low-cost, practical ways to improve the security in the whole area over there. I think longer term we've got a different thought in terms of where we might go to improve that. But
is there even an issue of security up there? I guess I'm confused here because the judge, as a bailiff, has got a concealed carry permit. There's more deputies and sheriffs in that area than probably anywhere in this county other than the police station or the sheriff's department. What is the issue? Does the judge have, threats on his life or something here that this is I mean, it seems to me we're going to an extreme.
Well, it's not if we change the parking lot in and we gave everybody a card access, that would be extreme. Stepping back and saying, given the world that we live in today, and the fact that we have law enforcement guys that are being shot in the back unprovoked, and some of the other nonsense, it's reasonable based on $2,000 or whatever it is, $2,500,
$22.
To step back and say, is there, given the situation, again, it's not going to be ideal because we don't have an ideal situation there. What are the simple things that we can do to improve security? And actually, we heard a suggestion the other day, which I think was very good, and that is we've never really talked about awareness, situational awareness. Now, being that I was in the military and some of the training that I received had to do with situational awareness, I don't even think about that. It's just something automatic for me when I'm in that situation. Many people maybe have not had that training, that perspective, and so on and so forth. But let me address your comment relative to the judge. Has he gotten threats? Yes, he has. And he regularly gets threats in his life, as does the prosecutor, as does the auditor. I don't think the county recorder is getting threats on her life, but that's the type of nature of the job that she is in. But the judge does get threats on his life. So does the prosecutor. And they're not walking around with armed guards guarding them all the time. So they do have a high-risk job, unfortunately, or higher risk than us here. We tick people off, but I don't think anybody's wanting to come and get us. And your point is well taken. We live in Geauga County. It's not like we live in, I'm trying to think of a place where,
Be careful.
We've got, a more dangerous situation.
Be careful.
So, but, I mean, it is, we don't, the world's getting a little crazy around us, but we still live in a relatively safe place, and we'll never, and again, this is a personal opinion, we're never going to be completely safe. That's just not what life is all about.
Anybody want to move to Chicago?
I'm not sure if Karen left the room, and then she came back with a worried face. Do you need us to
I
amend
need a
an action that we
change.
took?
I have 2 postings with the old rates on them, so they need to be approved to repost with the new rates on them.
Thursday.
Pardon me?
Can we fix them on Thursday? Is that okay?
Okay.
And we have a meeting.
Yeah, because it goes in the paper on Friday. They advertise for Sunday. So, Thursday would be fine.
I mean, we don't have the language. I mean, we can
Right.
come up with
I
something.
might have memorized.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you had the language, all we're doing is changing the number. Right?
Right.
Do you want to just amend the motion from today to say and include the postings that are current?
I mean, it's all right with me. I just, whatever makes it easier for Karen to get her job
Well,
done.
for Kathy to do her job.
Kathy.
Kathy, okay.
I didn't know you needed security.
Just check. There's no dogs in here.
That was the dog dude.
Everybody
I don't know how
wants
you
to start out.
That may be a way to secure the building. We always have the warden here.
The dog warden.
That's right, because he's always carrying pack. But back to the subject at hand here. It's interesting because my first take on this after getting the request from the court was, who cares about parking? I'll go over to talk to the public officials and just say, hey, look, and I actually suggested, let's just have let's just open it up, take all those reserves off. The amount of motion that goes around parking is unbelievable. And so the reality on this, people do care about it, and I don't care. But if they care, I don't want more news articles in the Maple Leaf and all this kind of stuff. So if we can find a nice way to solve the problem where everybody is, I don't want to say happy, but everybody's willing to live with whatever the situation is, it's probably a practical way to approach this and not try to foist our own personal opinions or thoughts on things. So that's just a take on it. So what I'd like to see, if we can get agreement on this option that we provided to the judge, it sounds like we've still got to reach out to other elected officials, right. the auditor's office, the treasurer's office, the prosecutor's office, the recorder's office. I think that's everybody.
But does that take away from parking for businesses up there? I mean, if you're going to put a chain... Okay.
No, this is the county.
This is the county parking lot.
That's why we only have 54 spots.
It's always been totally consumed, historically or traditionally. It's just that we're changing the balance a little bit. And so it's not like we're really changing that much other than the balance in the parking spot. And there's going to be a couple of people probably who are not going to be excited about it. But relatively speaking, it's a fair, practical solution. And I would suggest we go with it. But, I mean, it's on the table for discussion. So.
I just want to make sure we
Are
have
we
her.
talking about parking around the square?
Not around the square. No, we're talking about our
courthouse,
parking
the
lot in the
annex,
back.
The annex behind the annex
Yes.
and the courthouse and.
Yeah.
Well, speaking to this gentleman's concern about affecting retail, on the other side of the square, you can park all day. There's no limit on time. Over by the.
On East Park, that's East Park Street.
Yeah,
Right.
by the library and the
And
school
I've been told
along
it's
that
not any
side.
further than if you park at Walmart and walk to the front door. It's just sort of a mindset. So there's plenty of parking over there usually.
I think I'd like, if we can, clear up Karen's issue with, well, we're still in session to make a motion to amend that last vote that we had to be inclusive of the current postings for jobs that would, because they have a rate posted on them now. If we raise the rate, we just.
We might get some
What all do you
applicants.
have open here?
Just a part-time attendant and a full-time attendant.
My motion is to bring those two postings into compliance with the pay grade that we just passed.
Second.
Aye.
Schiller?
Aye.
Does that satisfy
I think so.
Linda?
I think
Does
that's
that
correct.
satisfy you and satisfies you, Karen, so that we...
Yeah.
That gives Kathy a little more time to make the adjustments then.
Okay, I mean, if it's going in the paper on Saturday, I mean,
You're
what,
right.
we can
Yeah.
act on this and be done with it.
Plus,
Or Friday, I mean.
it can get impacted, on the website right now. I mean, right.
Yeah.
Those are all. That's where you
Okay.
really get your applicants from.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, is there an action we can take to approve the option that's on the table relative to the
I don't
parking,
think
or how
we
we?
really,
I don't
I don't
think
think
we
we really
need
need to take, as long as I feel we have consensus of the board that, subject to any information that's given to us by the elected officials we talk to that brings us something substantive that we didn't think about, then I would think, as long as I feel you folks are in general consensus that this makes sense.
Passing a resolution every time we change somebody's parking spot could be a little...
Yeah.
Well, but this is a little broader than that. This is the concept of, jacking that around. As long as there's not going to be, if there's going to be a problem, we need to talk about it.
Well, we don't know if there's going to be a problem because it hasn't been done yet.
Well, but
So
if
we pass a resolution, we may be back next year or next week passing another one.
I mean,
I'd let it go.
I would go and take every parking sign down. But
I'm just saying
the amount of motion we'll have in this room.
I think we walk away and say that's it. Let's go move on to something important or more important. I move to adjourn.
Good.
Gotta remember, don't put this pen in my pocket.